Okay, my name's Jason,
My name's Ina.
and today we're going to do a hack session. Uh, Figured we'd write like a small website for the Mile High Gopher meetup community, just to collect all the meetup events that are going on and conferences that are going on in Colorado, and present them on a website that's easily accessible. So you would just go to milehighgophers.com and you just have all that information easily accessible, and you don't have to like drill to all the different meetups. So I think that's what we're gonna do today.
And just to keep it simple, I know there's the Boulder Go meetup, there's the Denver Go meetup. Maybe we can just start by taking data from those two meetups and presenting it on a page. And then, of course, there's all sorts of ways that we can improve this.
But there's also the DTC meetup.
Maybe we can grab that stuff as well.
Yeah.
So you want to draw like a little diagram?
Yeah, how do you go?
All right, so here's what, let's see if I can get it in shot here. I'm thinking that we'll build a little HTTP server. And the idea is that when somebody goes to milehighgophers.com, it will send a request into our HTTP server. And version 1, we're just going to go over to, we're going to issue a number of requests over to the Meetups API. This is Meetup. And what we'll do is Meetup will respond with various bits of JSON data. We'll aggregate all that data into a nice little, well, maybe not nice is the right word, but kind of like an HTML structure, and we'll respond to some HTML. I feel like that's the first version, and then there's all sorts of interesting things we can do right here to make sure that when this request comes in, the data is served as fast as possible rather than doing this serial.
Yeah, do some other caching.
Caching, there's all sorts of interesting Go routines, a polar that we were discussing briefly earlier. So I think this is what we'll start with, and we can kind of iteratively build this piece together.
Cool, sounds good. All right. All right, so let's see here. I think we got a blank directory going on. All right, so how do you want to start here?
Let's go try to understand what Meetups API looks like.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You,
I have not looked at Meetups API at all.
I'm going to bring up a new browser here, and we can just get this working. I believe that you can actually interact with the API without a key. Eventually, we'll probably want to get a key because I think there's rate limiting and usual sorts of things. And you can see here are the events. There's all sorts of things on the left here. And you get very something like this. So I think what we're going to end up doing is issuing a GET request to URL name is like the name of the meetup. So we probably should figure out what the names of the meetups are.
Yeah, let's go ahead and start a event buffer here. Meetups. So is there like is URL name like?
So I think it's like Boulder-Gophers. It's whatever the meetup organizers decide to call there.
So we'll do Boulder Gophers first because that's the best meetup.
Yeah, so you can see it right there in the URL. Yeah, the Boulder Gopher meetup, that's pretty cool.
I'm sure Austin's going to have a comment or two.
There might be some disagreement about that statement.
DTC, see Denver. You need to get the Mile High Gophers on the Boulder meetup.
Yeah, that's a cool logo. Yeah, for those watching, there are T-shirts, or I don't know if these are still available. Are these still available?
It's like a Teespring thing.
Super cool on T-shirts.
I think it's Teespring.
Yeah, there it is.
So you have your very own.
It's a great
Mile High
great
Gopher
T-shirt.
So I think I might copy this correctly. Yeah, they got like a lot of different merch here. Coffee mugs, t-shirts, hoodies. Anyways, let's go.
Looks like it's just the Denver Go language user group.
Well, probably gonna need prefix too at some point.
Yep.
And then DTC. I know my world revolves around Go, but meetup. There's more than one DTC meetup.
Sweet. So let's go back to that API.
That's really Denver Go.
It's very, very choice.
Yeah.
let's go back to the API docs. I think the basis, you'll have to go back. I think the base is api.meetup.com, but they have a little example, I think, at the top. You scroll down a bit. Just like there's a top. There you go, api.meetup.com. And then it's that meetup name / events. So that's basically it.
Like that.
So
Sorry, the main.go.
yeah, sure. Let's do it. So
I bring this stuff over. It's because I think it's like a new vendor feature where
it's trying to help you.
yeah, trying to help me a little too much. Alright,
So
Collins service,
yeah.
API template. Cool. And then you want to see our meetup names.
Yeah, we'll just keep it simple. I think maybe the first thing we'll do is we'll just like prove to ourselves that we can reach out and grab this stuff, and we'll just spit out the JSON on it. And the front print or something like that. Cool.
Alright, so we got our meetup names and our API templates. So
And just be like really naive here. I would say just do like an HTTP get API, or we'll do a sprintf here. Oops. Sprintf API template. I don't know why that's suggested. And let's just start up with meetup names, not that. Meetup names 0.
you see that returns like a JSON thing.
Yeah. So we get a response and error, and we'll be good. Go programmers and just bail if we get something bad here. Otherwise, can I just printlen this guy here, or do I have to actually read it out? Probably have to read that into a buffer.
Body is it's not a function, it's a reader, so you have to read from it.
Alright, let's do that. Let's say, what's the best way to do this?
IOT, util,
It's like read all or something like that.
It's weird that this is why I don't use like control P, control M thing.
Oh, weird.
It's like when I do it, I know an Arbor config, it doesn't do it, it opens up the docs. It's so annoying.
Oh, we probably have some default shortcuts maybe.
Yeah. Alright, so read all from, well,
Response
first we want to say defer this body close, please.
So,
Like that. Let me see, rest body. And then I think read all will exhaust the body, so you don't have to worry about throwing away anything. I forget how this thing works. Probably should have looked at the docs. That's all. So
it's a byte slice.
we are data and just do this there. So if you have our data, we have Marshall would be saying that one instead of JSON.
Yes, sir.
So let's see what the prototype here is. So unmarshalled data and interface.
So you just do a map of string to any interface, or any interface rather.
What was that?
What will you put in this side here? Just a alright, and it will be an array. The JSON will be an array.
So you said the actual data will be a slice of, isn't it like an object with a key and then a slice inside of it?
So just as a little thing to get us started here, I would say let's just curl this thing.
Yeah, so it is.
meetup.com/Boulder Gophers, is that what it was? Events. Let's make sure that worked. So that didn't work. Let's do this. And let's do an I here.
Maybe you have to ask for the.
So there we go. So that's the response. So let's take that I out of there. And rather than nonetheless, let's just say sample response. So as we're going, we don't have to continue hitting that.
Isn't that weird? What does I do?
So I think what's confusing about this is that as meetup organizers are making descriptions,
Oh.
it stores the description as HTML inside the description
Yeah.
field.
So it looks like it's HTML. Yeah. So maybe just type this into JQ. See that it's actually JSON.
Yeah, there it is. So we have this nice.
You can do, I think, some mouse or some points. We could do like keys. Do all the keys.
Yeah. So it's just an array to start with.
You might have to poke around here a little bit.
Yeah, that's it.
Dots in there. Does it so give you the events?
Yeah, looks like we got a name, which looks like a good one. We also have a status. Incidentally, I think there's a query parameter we can pass to the API that says, hey, I only want upcoming. And I think probably for our potential users, they don't really care about past. If they did, they would just go look for it themselves. There's a venue there. But maybe we could just start by like printing out the name and, I don't know, the time, RSVP counts. I mean, who knows? Whatever will
Yeah, just keep it simple for now. We do want the description. I think that might be useful to display to the users.
There'll be some interesting like problem there to like how do you
clean it up?
How do you clean it up? How do you print out the HTML without getting yourself into trouble? Yeah. So tell you what, let's do this. We had let's go up just a bit. We had the let's see, name. Let's say name
and time.
And time just to start with. And you see it's epoch time, so that's another little interesting thing that we have to deal with.
So we want structs for name and time, and maybe ID too.
Yeah, that sounds good. So we'll just call it like event data. Right? And have a name, which is a string. Time, which is I guess we'll do an unsigned int, right? It's epoch time. And then,
Unix epoch actually is signed.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But you can go before 1970 as well as after.
That's true. All right, an ID looks like it's a string. Yeah, I think I've heard that before. All right, so this is just an instance as well. So that's what our, that we can elaborate on that and make it bigger as we go. But
you want to do the fancy go add tags.
Oh yeah.
Go add tags. Gives you the JSON tags.
See that? I think if we'd left it off, it would have had no problem with name and time, but I think ID, it would have been confused by that capital D.
Yeah. Usually I just add them no matter what because it's so easy.
That's super
If you use Vimgo, you can add your string tags.
Just add it very conveniently. So there's our slice, right? We've made that, we declared as a variable. We don't have to actually make a slice, right? A nil slice would be fine.
Yeah, but I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, let's do it.
And then you give it a pointer to where the slice is located at, it should give you the result. So it's fatal on our usual error stuff. And we want
just dependent on that data.
So we want
or you can even loop over the items in the slice and split them out.
Percent hash
data. Sweet. Yeah. It's kind of like a minimum.
Look at that.
Sweet. So our effectively that's our test, right? Like as we go, we'll constantly be like running our program and seeing if we get some kind of output.
Yeah. Normally, like and I, we do test-driven development, but I figure like you discussing like TDD stuff kind of like slows you down. So for like a screencast like this, I don't think it's
it's kind of fun.
But we have an effective test here running the game.
So that's the beginning of the thing. Now, I think there's one little optimization that we can make here in our query or our API interaction. And that if you look at the request parameters, it accepts a status field, which we can get for upcoming, and that will immediately like throw out cancel, draft, pass, propose, suggested, all that. So I think we're not really interested in that. For now, we'll just come here, say status is equal to, all right, and let's just run a little test here. And there we go, we got some cool stuff. So a couple meetups coming up, that's good.
Do we have, so right now I think we're using the default Go path. Go. That's my default Go path. Do you want to set up a Go path, or
I think
is that,
I think it's kind of cool to develop inside the Go path as much as possible, especially for like a little thing.
yeah.
I suppose.
Do we need it to be isolated? I guess that's what I got a lot of other stuff in my Go path. So
Do we care if
it's isolated or not?
I think for now we're okay.
Yeah. All right. So let's go back to main. I was asking that because I prefer to use Skew. Have you used Skew?
Oh, I see.
Just for like, if we're gonna use this as like a visual reference.
It's a neat little thing.
So that'll give us a little bit more of a pretty printed output.
That's good. That's good. All right, so we're getting our data now.
Do we want to coerce these into actual time.time values? Or?
I think we should, but let's see if we can get that formatted out as HTML. Is the way I see this problem. It's like, number one, you got to get the data. Number two, you then have to like compare the data into HTML, and then number three, you have to serve the data in a server.
Do you want to extract this into a function? Like get the data and stuff?
Yeah, let's do
We
it.
just give it a meetup name instead of like having a hard code there.
Yeah, right.
So we'll
So
say,
we can actually go get all the meetups.
yeah, so get events maybe?
Yeah.
Give it a meetup name. Meetup names of 0. We'll just do 1 for now. Fun, get events. Name is a string. Returns a slice of events data. Pretty much the same here. Here's the name. Name. And should be the same. And then return data. Yeah. See how it builds. Find data, so this will need to be data here.
So what I think is really fun about this problem is you can kind of like take very small iterative steps towards that like nice whatever outcome that we're going to end up in, or at least working maybe. That's
like fun. Iterating.
Because
I like
think
just like imagining the solution and just
just write everything.
shortcut right to
right, top to bottom. Yeah, exactly. I'm not smart enough to do that, unfortunately.
No, this is definitely the better way to
So
go.
this is how I like to do it. There's one cool thing that I've enjoyed doing. I don't know if there's necessarily a trade-off. It's that rather than doing the straight up on Marshall, you can say new decoder. Oh, look at that. We got this nice autocomplete. How do I use that? Because if I press the N, it pulls this up. Oh my god. All right, and we'll say run.
I'm crippling you with it. It's more like you can look at it, but then you gotta type it. That's the way I use it.
I see.
It's more of like a suggestion.
It's like it's good practice. All right,
You
so
can't do the
there's-
Control N, Control P stuff, but then it'll do the documentation.
It's probably good practice. And my typing would definitely use it.
So what are the advantage of using a decoder versus a IO util read all? I guess we could just delete all this stuff. Right?
Yeah, I guess that's one of the benefits, right? That it does that for you. I think there's possible that the decoder does some buffering for you as well. We could double check that. That might be a lie. I think if you look in, like if you dig around in Stack Overflow, there'll be people who will tell you that, like in one case the unmarshal is good, and in the other case the decoder is good. My general understanding is that the decoder is the way to do it, unless you. I don't know. I don't know if the other one. I mean, the other one's kind of cool.
The only time I use a decoder nowadays is that if I want to like pass it into something, and then the interface for the thing that's receiving it can just be I want something that can decode from an interface into decode into an interface and return.
That's kind of cool. I'll go back into that doc for a second. And we're just Control I back in. Look at what it says on line 28 here. The decoder introduces its own buffering,
and they read data from R beyond the JSON values.
So I guess like for buffering concerns, like the read all is maybe just going to take it all in at once. I mean, granted, at the end of the day, we're doing the same thing. So it's like splitting hairs, but there are these two things out there. It's worthwhile to know about them. Anyway, so we got this. So now I think we're all ready to. We might as well just reuse our reusable function here. So let's call this Boulder, for instance, and let's make a Denver. And let's make a, let's see here, link paste, oops, link paste. etc.
Mhm.
And now we've got all our data, right?
Mhm.
And then here,
You did index 3.
So yeah, whoops, that's wrong. That's cool. Here we can say append Boulder to Denver to DC. Oops, got an extra guy there.
Can you do multiple variadic expansions?
Probably not.
I've never tried it before, so you just try it with another period there, so it works.
Yeah, I bet append doesn't take variadic arguments, but let's find out.
It takes variadic, but I don't know if you can.
Oh, what did I do? What did I miss here? That looks good, right? Let's see here. Yeah, so it looks like it doesn't know how to parse that. Yeah. So let's just do this. Let's say all events is equal to, that's a slice of event data. Right? And we'll say all events. We'll just put it all together. Granted, this will end up becoming maybe something more generic. Put that together. And then, oops.
You want to. Yeah.
And then we'll say all events. Well, what do you think?
I guess that'll work. So you create a nil slice, and then you append onto the Boulder one. The only problem is it kind of like it has a possibility of like changing the contents of that, right? Normally, I would just do like I think it reads better to just do all events.
Oh yeah, that is better. That's definitely better.
Boulder first. Boulder goes first.
Very nice. And then
it just reads better.
Yeah, I think that's much better.
This can just be done. Alright, beautiful.
So we can run a little test again, just make sure. This time we'll get a lot more data probably.
Yeah. So we got DTC, we got the Go monthly meetup, and the Boulder.
Sweet.
Cool. Alright.
So at this point, I think we're beginning to see like an object, or I guess if we were doing object-oriented programming, I'd say an object. I don't know what the terminology necessarily is in Go, but like
Call an object.
a reusable thing type. And I would say this is like to me this is like a data store. I guess in
So is this you're imagining this is the structure that you want to receive from like a store? Like if we were going to put it as like cache or something, the cache would just give you here's the slice of all your events.
I think so. I'd say, hey store, give me all the events.
So we could pull that out to a function then. Like maybe that should be get events, and then this could be I don't know. We have to pick some names. Usually, like in Go, you don't like the convention is to not say get. If it's a getter type thing, so you say events. But we have two different things here. We have get events for a specific meetup, and then we have get events for all the meetups. You say all events, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's various ways to think about this. I think eventually we'll probably want to be able to support getting different kinds of things, but for now we've got a thing that's going to give us all the event data.
So that would be this. And then we could pull these constants into the function, just to get on local or you can leave them up there.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
So
Return all events.
right now we're not really worried about testing, but like from a design standpoint, when I've like figured out there's an object in main, I like to pull it out and move it into its own package. Because this feels like a thing that if somebody wanted to consume this as a library, for instance, like this would be a nice little like library thing. You'd say like, give me a new store, for instance. Against it'd be like in a meetup package is how I was thinking about it.
Do you want to start pulling things out the packages right now? Or? I think we have probably when we switch over to like spawning up a HTTP server, maybe then you pull stuff out the packages. One thing I was like considering is like if we're calling this thing all events, do you want to sort these events by timestamp? so that it's not like all the Boulder ones and then all the Denver ones. And all, I mean,
Yeah.
I know that's
Yeah.
something that you would want. It's like you want it chronologically sorted from like the next event that's coming up onward.
Yeah, I think we want to do that. Let's try to get through this whole like little diagram that we got here, and then we can do a second pass of like sorting events.
Yeah.
Because there's some question of like how we want to ultimately think about this data. Like, do we want to think of it as like here's just the Boulder ones, here's just the Denver ones, here's just the BTC ones, or do we want to think about it as like a whole set of data? Like those, in some way, that's like a UI concern almost.
So sort by timestamp. Say consider sort. Choose either one. By timestamp, and then also refactorize range over slice. Is another thing I want to do there.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do now?
So let's take all this data and turn it into HTML.
Sounds good. Render?
Yeah, let's make a render function. And for now, we're just making these functions, but really these functions, like you can see how all events and events will correspond to like a store object. And I think this render thing, and whatever else we come up with, will probably be like a UI or HTML thing, or whatever. As we're building this, there's probably we want to think about this data as sometimes we want to present it as JSON, like in case we turn this into an API, for instance, or maybe want it to be HTML or God forbid XML.
Alright, so maybe define a concept here for how to render an individual element. So event template. Stop if
so templates, I haven't done a ton of stuff with templating. Most of my time with Go has been sorting up JSON APIs. So at some point we're gonna have to put like an HTML tag, all that stuff.
So I was just gonna use like a sprintf type thing to get it into HTML. So it could be like say like an li. Sure, it'll be a list. It'll be ordered. An order list. And then we'll say like.
Yeah, for now you won't be able to click on it, but it's another nice little thing you can add.
So this will be like, man, it's been a while since I did the template and stuff. Do you want to actually use Go templates?
I think
it's been like ages since I
think we should. I think we should. Yeah, if you look at I think there's a nice example at this package for HTML. It's back. Just scroll down a little more. It might be under. There's the templates, and then there's an HTML templates. There's two packages. Like I think that the bulk of the work is done inside.
Does that give you like escaping and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's another like HTML concerns. If you scroll down just a touch, there is a nice little example a little further. Like they give you a whole. I think it's under the example section.
Let's see.
Maybe package-based examples. Is that it? Yeah, look at that. There's what I'm thinking about.
So create const, which has this like syntax, and then you parse the template to get a T back, and you can reuse that T to render multiple execute.
Yeah, you can execute it. Cool. So
I think I might maybe use this like
copy
paste in my entire life. So.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are doing server-side rendering in Go, but maybe not nearly as many as people are just serving up JSON.
Yeah. So to trash that idea, we'll call this document.
Yeah.
Template. Something like that. I probably should use this better.
Now we have the benefit of working with Go templates to do a lot of that heavy lifting for us.
So let's inject our head. It's all stylistic.
And you can see that like this is exactly or pretty close to what we want. It's not an unordered list, but you're ranging over a collection, and then you're rendering one thing, or else you're rendering another thing.
Cool. do any of this. So items would be like events.
So what's really neat here is leave the
Or just dot.
items there for a second there. Yeah, just dot, exactly. Just dot. So for instance, we'll do, let's say dot name, right? And then
We don't want the else. Well, I guess we could have an else there.
Yeah, why not?
It's been so long since I've done any front end stuff.
It's been much more recent for me. The low level stuff is all new to me. So there's that, right? And because we like nice things, let's do a little bit of formatting here. So you can see that, or maybe
does Go's templates support, like, I noticed in Python, which is the language I have the most familiarity with templating languages, with Jinja too, you can put like hyphens at the end of the handlebars to like absorb the white space to the left or right.
Oh yeah. Well, there's all sorts of great stuff about the templates, and in fact, the guy who does Go in 5 minutes has a nice screencast on it.
Do these like have to have a space, or?
Let's find out. And I think Go Funk would want us to put spaces in there anyway.
So do we need spaces here? We can try it. This reads.
It reads better. Although interestingly, we did copy that as is, so the else and range are no spaces. So it looks like
range else, but then the actual rendering. But this one didn't have it. Let's just take the spaces out.
Yeah, it looks like we can get away with it.
I just like consistency.
Yeah, that's good. That's what Go Funk is all about.
So name, time, ID. Yeah, we don't care about ID, and then say no events. The apocalypse must have happened.
The poor meetup organizers are just exhausted.
Yeah.
All right, so let's do the same kind of thing. Like we built up this concern here that eventually we'll probably migrate out to another package or something like that. We don't really know, so we're just going to leave it there. Let's say what we really want is we really want to just say like render, right?
So we could say like this will give us back our data, or what we're going to write out.
Let's just say HTML.
HTML?
Yeah.
Is that going to collide with? No. So that's
yeah, that's a good point, right? We don't want to be using
those. And then maybe like for now we just say
font. Yeah, it's my favorite function. Just print, just like spit it right out.
You want to do f print f though, because this is going to be slice of bytes instead of a string, so we'll do f.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Because eventually when we write it to the HTML connection, it will want to be bytes.
It's coming out as bytes. How do you format bytes with font?
I'll tell you what. Let's not worry about it for now. Just print out. Let's just assume it's a string, and when we want to fix it, we'll fix it. Oh, very nice. Yeah, cool. So let's define a render function.
We got a render function down here.
Super cool.
So
this is kind of neat. What we'll do is we'll start by saying this is where we probably don't want to be creating a template every time. Ideally, we create it once and then we just reuse it every time.
I mean, could we define it as a global variable if it's just something that we're reading from?
Yeah, sure. And it's the kind of thing that will move into like a constructor when we new something up or something like that.
I mean, if it's a global variable, it gets initialized like at init time.
Let's take a look at this documentation here, or this example. It's very nice. So you can see you've got your template here, and then you're going to make a new one. And you can see that's going to be the same thing every request, every whatever. It's the execute that will be distinct for whatever.
It's interesting. It executes it into a IO writer.
Yeah.
So we could just do a list and instead of printing out like that.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Let's do that.
We don't need. Do we need to render? Do we need render to return a slice of bytes, or does it need to receive a IO writer?
Let's. I think the way that we'll want this to go is we'll want this render to be able to take in data and return like the bytes that will eventually write out to some kind of HTTP.
So is there like another template method that we can use other than this execute? Because I imagine this thing is like going through right into this standard out. Let's see if there's like another.
I think execute is probably the one. You can see there's one with a name and there's one right above it. It's execute and execute template. I think for now we just want to get the HTML out into the page. Like it's going to be ugly, but we're kind of like taking little small steps and so on.
Yep.
So I think render. So let's just nuke that, and with the understanding that let's see here.
So we just throw away the result for now, and then have render right to IO centered out.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. What is this? Let's take a look at that example one more time. Here's the. Oh, I see. That's the okay. I get it.
I mean, you could also create like a buffer and pass that in, and like have it right to the buffer, and then take the buffer and write it to centered out.
That's kind of cool. I think that's a little more like a better design. That's what we'll want in the long run.
It'd be nice if like you could execute the template and just have it yield you the bytes. Let's see if there's any like thing here. Slice of HTML escape. Just escape HTML, and JavaScript. Yeah.
Let's do what you're saying. Like make a new. I think there's something in the buffer package. So we'll leave this like that, and then we'll interact with the template right here. So we'll say template execute.
You don't want to do the execute inside the render?
Let's get it working, and then we can move some pieces around.
Okay. So I think we should have the template defined and
okay. Cool.
here. Cool. So let's grab our template new. Do you know what that string is? That template new?
It's the name of the template. So you could like, this is our index. I don't really understand the use of it necessarily, but
so let's do this. Just if errors not equal to return there.
Just log that fatal. And for now, we're just going to beta. Like eventually, these log fatals will turn into hand an error back and let the caller decide what they want to do. These are kind of like to-dos in my mind. But what are you going to do this error?
All right. So we create our template. We'll say.
Or just even like homepage or index, something short and sweet.
And then do we call it template called document template? Call it index template. Index.
Very nice.
So we create a template, and then we execute it with the events. How do we do it?
Yep. And we'll just swap that for os.standard out.
And then this is going to error out because we cool.
Alright, so
missing return at index function, return so you just want to run this here?
Yeah, let's run our test. I mean, it's kind of a crappy test, but it's a test, and look at that, it worked.
Awesome.
Pretty cool. And granted, the timestamps, like there's so many things to fix.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've learned watching the Go in 5 Minutes screencast is there's this cool must function.
Yeah. Must render, must compile.
Yeah, exactly. So I think what we ought to do is we ought to just swap that out. Swap whatever we got for using a must here. Shoot, I don't know where it is here, so let's do it. You can wrap this with a template.must. And what that will do is, if it doesn't work, you can panic and you don't even have to do it.
So yeah, and in that case, like you would want it as a goal, right? Because like
yeah, right. It's
template must takes in the template and there and returns a template. Okay. So then we would go up here and say, hey, now you're a bar. So maybe we do this. And we'll say this is the actual index template.
Yeah.
Call this the index template, template string. Sure. I don't like putting types in variable names, but
for now, that's cool.
Alright, so we got our index template, and then back here we say index template, execute, events, that should build still, and the program should still run.
Well, it does.
So now you want to actually execute into the buffer.
Yeah. So now I feel like we've got a couple pieces here. Like we have these global variables, but you could see how, like, what I had envisioned is something that looks like this, like having a UI thing. Like maybe this is a little premature. I mean, you don't want to like over extract packages. I know that we've struggled with that in some of the Gopher that we work with, where we have lots of little packages. but it does feel like this is the kind of thing that is like a library thing. So I'd want something like a UI option, and then I'd want to say, and inside the UI thing, that's where it's managing the template. Like when you new it up, it's going to like make sure the template's good, it's good to go, whatever, and then you have a render here that would maybe return those bytes eventually. But maybe before we get to that, we could take the step of actually returning the bytes, and then like phone println inside.
I like the idea of just. You're saying these are all like UI concerns. Let's pull them out into a package. That way we can kind of keep them isolated to themselves, and then the actual we can have like a data package that actually queries the Meetup API, and then a UI package that
something
renders stuff.
Maybe we get it working now, and then we can talk about where we want to like split the seams. But you can begin to some seams are starting to appear. This code here.
So we could get it to return bytes by using was it bytes buffer?
Yeah, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Bytes.buffer.
You just say, I think there's a new buffer.
And I don't think you need to give it anything, right? New bytes buffer initials a new buffer using initial contents. It can also be used to size the internal buffer for items. That buffer should have a declared capacity, but a length of 0. In most cases, new buffer or just declaring a buffer variable is sufficient to initialize the buffer. So you just say var buff is a bytes buffer, and then buffer here, and you say buff.bytes.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's super nice. Because now we have like this rendering. Yeah, it is. The rendering now is kind of self-contained. It returns bytes for you.
And then just say front dot. This is where I forget how to do this. Print. I got an idea. We could say println and say HTML blah blah blah. I think that works.
Kind of interesting.
Nope. Let's see here. Find HTML. I cannot use type slice of byte as slice of interface.
So why don't we just string it, see what happens? You know, who knows if that would be.
See if that works. Nope. Okay. What are you saying?
Yeah, just call string against it. And, you know, maybe that will look a little funny.
Just complicated things.
We'll see if that does the trick. I think we have. Oh, is that it? Oh, yeah, one last little thing. So there's this type problem. I thought it did.
I thought bytes buffer.
Is there there might be a function we have to call? Do we have to like call ask for its writer or something like that?
Bytes cap grow line next read. I mean that's the IO reader there. It's not a writer.
Oh, it's a pointer. Do you declare it as a pointer?
Oh no, I didn't. That probably does have a write method. It's off screen. Let's get back here.
Cool. So let's file our program. Unfortunately, we haven't.
Oh, what a site file.
Reference. So interesting. I like the documentation. Maybe we can understand. What
Do you want to new it up? So say.
Yeah, let's new it up and give it just like 1024 bytes or something like that.
Let's try this first. See if the documentation. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it just needs to new.
Like this. There we go.
Cool. Great. So I think what's really neat about that is the render now is like entirely contained. It's like give me data and I will give you some representation.
Should we like explain some of this like language stuff as we go? I don't know like our audience.
Sure.
We don't really have an audience yet. So what this is template execute receives a interface of an IO reader. Sorry, IO writer probably. Yeah. And all this IO writer has is this write method that receives a byte slice and returns the amount of things that were written into it, and if there's an error. It's a common, these are like the most common interfaces in Go. IO reader, which is a read, IO writer, which is a write, and then this closer, which just has a close method. And so execute needs one of those writers. In order to create one of those writers, we just created this bytes buffer thing that implements that interface, and then you can call the .bytes method on at the end, and it'll give you the bytes that were written into it.
So it's really just a place for like all that writing to go. Like where would we write to? Rather than out to the screen, we'll write to, or standard out rather, we'll write to a.
In the examples, they had like standard out. You can put that there as well. That's also an IO writer. But yeah, the compilation or the runtime no pointer dereference I ran into when I was doing var buff is a pointer to bytes buffer. The reason why this didn't work is this will create a local variable that has the value nil. That is a nil pointer to nowhere, basically. So there's no actual buffer being allocated here. Whereas this, you're saying allocate me a buffer struct and give me a pointer to it, and then assign it to buff. So that gives you the actual buffer allocated somewhere in memory, and gives you a pointer to it. And I think this would actually be a local to the function because it doesn't escape. We don't return it,
which is great. Yeah. I think the as like in terms of conventions, it's, since we're still a young Go is still a kind of young language. I think it's worth spending a moment on conventions as well, and then you'll see people do new.
Yeah. So this syntax
ampersand with the curlies at the end.
So these two are functionally identical. I've never seen any difference between the two explained to me, or I've never read any difference. They both give you the same types and everything. They both do, I think, functionally the same thing. You'll notice, though, that this format is superior because it has less characters in this format.
I've read that the new constructor is often useful if you have no interest in like what you might pass into the initializer, but it feels to me like this thing on 47 here is more like idiomatic. I don't know, for lack of a reason. But even then, I still see people who
this is
the Go core team will switch back and forth.
I've noticed that as well. I always prefer the syntax because sometimes you will eventually want to do that, and it's nice to just be able to easily do it.
Yeah, you're just leaving the door open for yourself in the future when you want to make some changes.
And it is kind of idiomatic, so.
Yeah. Cool. So we've got this nice little render function. Like I was saying earlier, it takes in data and it returns some representation. And you know,
so there's two things that I think we could do. We could start pulling stuff out into packages, or we could start like getting an HTTP server going. That way we can actually see it rendered.
Let's get it in the browser, and then as kind of a second part to this screencast, we can show how you go from this big, massive main file into like this nice, well-factored, testable code here.
So you usually call it HTTP.handle. This will like initialize the handler for the global thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's an HTTP package. You give it a pattern and a handler. So let's do handle, say root, and then I think it's HTTP.handle. I'm just going to create a handle func. Okay. Func, and so everyone can see, a handle func is just a function that you give it a function here that takes in the handle interface arguments, and it will call it for you. So let's go ahead and just create that here. What do you want to call it? Index?
Yeah, index is a nice one.
And it takes in a response writer, which is a HTTP.response writer, and a request, which is a command of HTTP.request. And it's returning them, and here we'll pass that here, say index and root. Alright, and then you can say like HTTP or log.fail HTTP.listen serve on say localhost.
Yeah.
Do we need to give it anything?
Yeah, nil at the end.
No?
So let's this is a funny little thing that I think a lot of people are ready to go. We'll see all over the place.
I guess we could just give it this thing. Right? It takes a handler. You don't need a really.
Oh, does it? Yeah.
I mean, we don't care about paths yet.
Not yet.
So
Cool.
one
So-
liner.
The idea is you'll start a server, you'll have a handler. So if any request, post, get, delete, put, patch, whatever, comes in, it will immediately hand back our index. And then we're wrapping it with log.fatal because I guess when the server finally does shut down, we want to see a log
Stack
message.
trace. Yeah. Or yeah. Log message. So handle fuck does take in a header and a handler. I didn't realize that.
Oh, so it at least will just listen on root then. Okay, fair enough. Uses a value, so you'll have to call that.
This thing
Oh,
return
that's interesting.
does it return an error? No. Oh, it doesn't return anything. That's why we're. So handle func will register this with the default syntax.
So let's
So just pull us out to and then we'll get it now.
let's give it the default. I see that everywhere in Go, and I feel like that's become a common.
I'm really not terribly familiar with this stuff, so if there's some idiom.
Yeah, that's the idiom that I'm used to seeing. The nil right there is kind of confusing because you're like, what does that do?
Yeah.
But
And
for
you
now
use
it's
that
not.
like variadic option as well.
Yeah, it would be nice. So the index handler is going to do a very simple thing. It's just going to render the HTML, and rather than calling string here, I think we'll just take a jump ahead and say the response writer, we're just going to write that HTML.
Want to check the error?
Yeah, and I don't know what we do at this point other than just like log it. Like we wouldn't want to bring down the whole server if it somehow failed.
Log error, or was it
Println maybe. It's like, hey, this didn't work for whatever reason.
Println and print I think are the same log package.
Cool. So
It's like this.
we're missing something very important, but I think it's more interesting to actually see that happen.
Yeah.
Cool. That looks great. So like I was saying, we're missing something very important in this handler, but it's super interesting to see it happen. So let's turn it on, go to your favorite browser, and actually just see if it works.
No, it doesn't like that. So let's get compiled.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
So multiple value right because you got n. We already said that.
A number of bytes written. Cool. So the first thing to notice, we have a problem already in that it's running and yet you don't even really know what it's doing. So something that I think Kelsey Hightower said was like, when you start your program, the first thing you should do is say, hey, I'm starting my program.
Yeah.
So you know it's actually running.
I like the philosophy of no news is good news. If
Okay,
you're not telling me things, I just assume.
it's a good precedent.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's go to what was it, localhost 8080.
Yeah, I learned that when the meetup with in the Boulder Go meetup, I learned about the logging thing from some of the Deus people.
Oh,
Like
really?
whenever you start up a listener, you should probably log.
So I'm actually surprised that this worked. It did work. Do you mind if we try this in Chrome as well? Because I was going to assume
Canary. I use Canary.
Canary.
Yeah, either one.
Let's see which one's open. Oh, it opened over here on our other screen. Let's bring this over. Let's get that back over there. Okay, so I don't know. I may be just making stuff up. So let's see.
Well, you didn't.
What I'm referring
You
to
didn't
is
tell us what you're talking about.
what I'm talking about is the MIME type. Like if you actually look at the raw request, oh, this works too. Geez, well, I guess I'm just doing silly things at home. Let's open up another tab here,
You can do a curl and see what the mind type is.
and I'm going to open up
I
this.
think it probably like the browser just assumes like text HTML and everything.
That's pretty cool. That's a pretty sane thing to do. For some reason, I was playing around with the handler and I hadn't set the let's see, I need dash I. I hadn't set the MIME type, and so my browser's like, I'm going to download this for you because I have no idea what it is. Oh, look at that. Cool.
So we should set the mind type.
Yeah, but it is doing the right thing. You're running on Go and 8. Huh. I don't know how I screwed that up. Anyway,
Well,
we got our server running.
yeah. We should set the mind type though. So was it
It's kind of interesting to show.
header dot sets, and what was it? You have to capitalize content type.
I don't think it matters, but it just looks better to me.
And then text /HTML.
And then you'll do semicolon,
What's
character set equals. You don't have to do it, but just in case we want to put some cool like Unicode in our -8.
Dash 8.
Just in case you want to put some
No,
cool.
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that and comment this out for now. Let's see our thing.
So I think it will work. But if we had any Unicode
Do
characters,
we have our? Where's our curl at? So.
oh, huh,
Text HTML. Looks like it did.
that's interesting.
I didn't give 7.
All right.
It's like
Well,
a
so,
secret sauce there.
To me, the takeaway is make sure you're setting your mind type. But for our purposes, it looks like we're in great shape.
What did I do it for?
Cool. That's great.
What happens if we? So are we sure we saw text HTML? Like, are we crazy? Seems like a weird thing for it to just add the character set.
I think it will make a best guess.
Text HTML. It looks like it's.
It makes a best guess to get about what it's looking at.
Was it text HTML originally?
Yeah, it was.
Huh. So I think text HTML is good.
Okay, so I think we've got like a nice server running.
I thought it said plain/text or text/plain.
Sometimes it will. I had like
I was seeing things
octet something data type, some crazy stuff. It just was not right.
So I don't think we need that. All right.
So I think we got a cool like beginning thing here. Maybe we can like do a little review about where we are.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll do a part 2 where we take this and like shape it and clean it up. What do you think?
Sounds good.
Because I think we're about an hour in.
All right.
So let's just do a little kind of talk through the code.
So we have some templates that help us render out HTML, and this is just a sprintf template that helps us find the URL for hitting the API. These are just a slice of strings that allows us to hit all the different Go meetups. This is us actually making sure our template compiles, basically. And then if we go down here, we just follow it from the main. We create a handler, index handler, and we register it with the default serve mux that's a part of HTTP. And then we tell it to listen and serve on localhost and port. And then our index handler is composed of a call to render, which gives us back all of our bytes. We then write those bytes out, and then just log an error if it happens. And then in the rendering, we just allocated a buffer so that we can render the template and then ask the buffer for its bytes. And the important bit is this all events thing. It went through, got the events for each individual meetup and then composed them together. It might be a little bit more like idiomatic way of doing this. You might want to range through the slice. So yeah, there's some work to be done here. And then finally, kind of the meat of the API stuff is this events function that we compose our URL, refer our close to our response body, and then we create our decoder, decode the JSON into a structure, which we define down here. Probably put this up at the top. Usually structs are up at the top. Just get that up here. And then we want that highway.
And that's it.
And that's pretty much it.
So I think really what's cool about this code is, I mean, number one, it's all in main, which is never something I would be super excited to show people. But nonetheless, like the actual design of this, like there's some pretty good scenes. Like we have the thing that's in charge of fetching the data. We have the thing that's in charge of like rendering the data, and we have the thing that's in charge of actually serving the data up through HTTP. So if we wanted to, for instance, change the way we rendered the data, we wanted to render JSON, for instance. We've already got the thing that's fetching the data, that wouldn't have to change. We would just swap out the render with a different render. Same thing if we said, we really don't want to make this available on like an HTTP server, we want to have like a command line version of it. We could easily swap out the HTTP server with like an execute command line function. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this kind of iterative process where you start from scratch and like build up over time, it leads to like natural scenes being drawn and like natural like complexity that is necessary, not needless complexity. Versus when you start out just like kind of designing a big system, it leads to all this like over engineering, needless complexity.
Exactly.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, like, as next steps, I think we gotta maybe say that this is the episode 1 right here. As next steps, first of all, if you look at the time, you go over to Chrome or whatever your browsers that you look at performance, the request time is like atrocious because number one, every time we hit a request to our server, it's issuing 3 serial requests to the Meetup API. That's the first thing. So like, there's no reason why we have to do that in serial. The other thing, or kind of related to that, is the Meetup stuff isn't going to change like every 30 seconds, right? It's probably changing what, like maybe once a day, maybe not even. So I think we could introduce once a week. Yeah, we could introduce some kind of like background process that's always running, like routinely, like over some period, going out and fetching that data and like storing it into a cache, in-memory cache, so that when clients hit it, they immediately get the data and they have like a very short response time.
Yeah.
And then from like just a kind of design standpoint, I feel like it would be good to actually start separating these out into packages that maybe libraries could use, or we could write tests around if we wanted to.
So split up concerns into packages.
Yeah. So that's the kind of stuff that I see for future episodes.
Yeah, I actually want to just diagram some of it just to give a teaser for next episodes. Okay. So how visible that is, kind of small. Move like you roll it over here. Should probably get like a better whiteboard next time.
This is like the MVP. Episode 1 is the bootstrap.
So right now we're doing all the API requests kind of serially. So obviously doing them in parallel. It's embarrassingly parallel like tasks. So that's easy optimization. The other thing I'm just gonna
please.
erase this. The other thing I wanted to The other thing I wanted to do is that cache that you were talking about, introducing that in-memory cache. And so we would have a holder with this pool. He would be responsible for periodically every day, hitting up the Meetup API and then getting all. We could actually continue doing it serially.
So it would be in the background.
Well, it's in the background. It's every day, so it's like more than a day to hit 3.
Yeah, right. I mean, as it stands, we're getting it in seconds.
Yeah.
So.
It's an optimization that is like we should probably do just to demonstrate it. But once we get the data from Meetup, just have this pull update the cache, and then the HTTP requests that come in can just read from that cache.
A lightning fast response.
So this is a kind of a demonstration of using multiple Go routines and coordinating them. So you have one Go routine that's doing the polling, and number of Go routines that are coming in from the HTTP framework. So
there's like some read-write concerns, and you don't want any data races through here.
Yeah, so I mean, you can implement it with channels, mutexes, read-write mutex, or atomics. I kind of want to go through the evolution of those and maybe do some benchmarking and show the advantages of
Talk about the pros and cons.
So yeah, that's
cool. So that's a wrap. That's episode 1 with you and Jason hacking on some Go.
Cool.
See you guys.